Hi and welcome to the 5th boss guide in Black Temple. This will be the Reliquary of Souls. Reliquary is a 3-phase fight where you will fight a different head of the Reliquary as you go along. So phase 1 will be Suffering, phase 2 will be Desire, and phase 3 will be Anger. Each of these phases have quite different mechanics and different ways to handle each phase. So the first one, which is Fragment of Suffering, has Aura of Suffering connected to it, and this does that so that no healing or health regen can occur, and armor is reduced by 100%, defense is reduced by 500 to everyone in the raid. This means that you just want your highest health person tanking the Suffering bit, and the way you tank is that you have to just be the closest target, and it locks onto the aggro. So range, you're obviously safe. You'll just stay back here roughly. Melee, you need to be max melee range when you stand and attack. Other than this, every now and so often the Fragment of Suffering will enrage, do a bit more damage. This is basically just like DPS race it. There's no threat you need to worry about, so you can just nuke away. Damage shouldn't be so high as to need cooldowns, so we'll just stay without using Lust for this phase. For phase 2, we'll have the Fragment of Desire. For this one, the Aura of Desire is that we take 50% of damage dealt. Now, this is very important, especially for Warlocks and anyone else who have like big crits. Control your damage. This is not a DPS race, it's controlled damage all the way through. So steady your damage. Don't blow any big cooldowns. Other than this aura, there's also Deaden. Deaden increases damage taken by 100% for 10 seconds. And its cast time is like roughly 1 second. This can be interrupted and reflected. So we'll have Warrior Tank, this will be Hassa probably. Spell reflect this one onto the Fragment of Desire. Don't interrupt it, because there's another mechanic that we need to interrupt, which is called Spirit Shock. Spirit Shock does around 10,000 arcane damage and confuses the target for 5 seconds. This will also drop threat. So it's very important that threat is controlled here, and that Hassa always has it, and Spirit Shock is prevented. We'll set up a kick rotation to make sure that rogues, warriors, shamans, mages, whatever, that you all just like pile in to try and get this interrupt going, because this is definitely the most important thing in this. But only Spirit Shock, never Deaden. This is incredibly important. The last ability is called Rune Shield. It absorbs about 50k damage, and it's immune to spell interrupt effects, so you can't interrupt the Rune Shield. It also increases attack speed on the Fragment of Desire, and increases casting speed as well. So this can be dispelled, or spell stolen, or just devoured by a Fell Hunter. Don't spell steal it, simply because you won't be able to get any like good use of it, due to you taking 50% more damage. So like if an Arcane Mage spell steals it and just like blasts away on Arcane Blast, you will just end up killing yourself with the increased attack speed. So try and be sensible about it. We'll dispel it, either Priest or Shaman Purge. The last phase is Fragment of Anger, and this is where we'll do Heroism, because this is the DPS race. So the aura here is called Aura of Anger, and it deals shadow damage periodically, and it increases for every time this is cast. After 60 seconds, probably impossible to start keeping people alive. The other mechanic it has is Seethe, and this is cast if aggro switches. So every time aggro switches, either through a tank dying or someone gaining threat, the Essence of Anger gets increased by attack speed increased by 100% and size by 20%. Anyone who gets Seethe will also get increased threat gain for 10 seconds. So this is just try not get threat to buff up the fragment. There's enough damage going around. The other spell it will have is Soul Scream. It's a 10-yard cone, hitting 5 people in front of it. Melee stay behind, range will stay off to the side. It burns mana as well, and for every mana it burns, it causes damage. Again, doesn't matter. for all the casters because you won't get hit by it anyway, but it does also burn rage, so whoever's tanking will need to be aware of this. Try and get like your rage down as low as possible to pump out as much as possible. For every rage burn, it causes 100 damage, so it's not like anything major if you keep your threat, or if you keep your rage fairly low. The last thing is Spite. Targets 3 people, puts them in immunity for 6 seconds, and then it deals a heavy amount of nature damage. This can probably kill you. You can't remove this effect unless you use Ice Block and Pally Bubble. But right, we'll engage the fight here so you can see the different aspects. There's a small intermission between every phase. We just stack up and kill some small spirits there. There's nothing significant about those. So yeah, we'll have tank here, melee over back here. Now you can move in quite close, so tank would be stood like right on the rim, like so, and melee you would be standing like further back, like so. So it's important that you keep max range so that the boss doesn't move around a little bit. Also, tanks, when you go in, try and do it like slowly, just so we guarantee that the boss doesn't move. Again, you can see here I'm fixated upon. I'm the only one here, and this is the aura. Now, basically, again, you just kill, 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 kill. Once you kill it, it goes back in its box, and we get some like small enslaved souls that we need to kill. These are quite insignificant. We just stay here, just kill, heal upon like death. Perfect. Once these die, we'll start like next phase. Once it's released from the cage. So here we go. Essence of Desire. This is probably the hardest phase, simply because the interrupting needs to be like fairly on point. So this Spirit Shock, here you go. Confused. When this happens and you're the only person there, it doesn't swap back row, obviously. But if there's anyone else, it will swap away from the confused or the disoriented target and start hitting someone else, and we don't want that. Once this is up, you can't interrupt spells, so remove the shield. This is deaden, just increases damage taken. So yeah, we would have a shaman or something purge this away so we can interrupt the Spirit Shock. The shield would also die fairly quickly just from like damage taken. But yeah, focus on interrupts. It's the most important thing. If we can control that, this phase should be fairly simple. We'll have a small intermission again. Again, it's enslaved souls. We just stack up around here. This is where casters will be stood here. We'll just stack on casters. And yeah, kill these little shits. Again, this looks easy because it's on retail. It obviously is easy for me. But it will also be easy on live servers. It's like, this is no issue at all. Okay, once these die, tank goes back into position. Range, you stay where you are. Melee, you go back to being behind the boss. Essence of Anger. Will a tank get a little bit of threat? After that, we pop Heroism, kill boss, get loot.